Well, hello there, it's me Auxilian here back from 2B2T. I'm trying to go to the world border in vanilla, so I don't use cheats, hacks or anything like that. Also, I'm doing this travel in the overworld, so no nether travel allowed. Anyways, let's go. I want to do this travel just because I love finding the weird and funky terrain generation you can find on a server like 2B2T. Because it is so old and it went through so many different versions of Minecraft and the map has never been reset, you can find so much jank and funk along the way, and I really love it. Doesn't matter if it is just something small like a floating flower or a cut off tree, or maybe a house that wasn't generated normally, or any other structure that might be a little bit funky. I just love it. As you can see in my coordinates, I'm past 9.2 million blocks on the x-axis, so I'm traveling towards east. I started my travel around a year ago. I think I started in June of the year 2025. And at the moment of recording, it is about a year later. So my travel speed is not that fast. Just because I love to investigate everything I can find on my way. Like this glow, for example. It's just a new chunk and the lava is flowing down. But still, I find these little things just beautiful. When you take a moment just to take in the view, you can see Minecraft can be such a beautiful game. Other people might be traveling at a much faster pace because their only goal is, to reach the world border. But my goal is not only to reach the world border, but also to enjoy the traveling time. And that's one of the main reasons why I don't travel in the nether. Because the nether is most of the time quite boring. You just look at the highways made out of obsidian and netherrack. And of course, the bedrock at the ceiling. What I love to do most of the time is investigating the different villages I can find, because most of the time you find some really funky things. But I guess this village was newly generated, but you can never know. Like for this one, this house is a perfect example. This was generated inside of the mountain. Oh, as well as this house. So let's use the creeper for advantage. There we go. And now we can take a look inside, and as you can see, it is completely filled in with dirt. If we go to the next houses, these are generated normally. But still, when you think you just can find in old areas nice and interesting things, you're mistaken. As you just saw, we found houses that were generated beneath the ground, and this is a completely newly generated village, as you can see by the chop blocks, like the smithing table. And that's what I love to do, and it's also the reason why it takes me so long to get to the world border, because I cherish every moment traveling there. And I usually check out every little thing I can find that looks a little bit strange. Unfortunately, we can't skip the night on 2b2t. So, most of the time, when it's night, it's night. And since I don't use any mods to enhance my vision, when it is dark, it's really dark for me. But still, I love it. Now we are on a trip over a big ocean. And here is another island. Oh, there's a shipwreck. Beautiful. I have checked out many shipwrecks on my travels. I found many hearts of the sea. I think I got around 2 stacks or so far. So most of the time I just don't bother checking them for the buried treasure maps, because I already got so many. But sometimes when I feel like, when I find a curious looking shipwreck, I usually check it out, see what's in the chests, and then find the buried treasure. We gotta say something in chat. There we go. I'm Auxilian. I am the real Auxilian. It's beautiful. I wonder when it stops raining. Oh, here is another beautiful thing. You see this one chunk white area where there is snow? I call it the line. Sometimes it stretches for a long way, and sometimes there are gaps in between. These chunks were generated by someone who used boatfly or some other means of really fast travel. So they only loaded a few chunks, then they skipped a few chunks, and some other chunks were loaded. And within these special chunks, you can find the most funky and wacky terrain generation on the whole server. So, since I'm traveling exactly at the axis, and because people before me flew this way at absurd amounts of speed, and just loading a few chunks here and there, exactly at the chunk borders, I can find what I love the most. Half-generated structures, or what I really love is finding half-bats or other strange occurrences. And, well, if you're still watching, you might also see what I found on this specific recording session. And finally, the sun is about to rise. Maybe it stops raining soon, but we will see. Oh, what is my playtime? Let's see. 20 days, 9 hours, and I guess around 19 days or plus. So around 470 or more hours are just travel time. Because I take my time. It's really beautiful. I also stayed for longer periods of time in one place. For example, when I had to repair my gear, Because usually I love to do fishing. Or I barter with some villagers to get up my XP rates. And I usually barter with selling them coal, which I mine along the way. And other means of repairing my gear, at least for the moment, are using these shulker boxes full of bottles of enchanting, which I got gifted from Turbot44 at 8 million blocks a few months ago. It was wonderful to finally meet someone who was watching my videos and thought, hey, let's meet up at a place. Oh, what do we have here? Let's fly back so we can have a better view of this. That's a floating pillager tower, if I've ever seen one. And I've seen many like this. What's inside? A little bit of dark oak, a bit of string, bit of wheat, bit of iron. Why not pimp it up with 3 golden apples? And maybe also a stack of sand. Also an e-chest, I mean, why not? Oh, that's beautiful. The other islands are also floating. Let's check it out from the side again. So many pillagers. Yeah, from here it just looks awesome. Gotta take a screenshot. Make it centered. Maybe I will use this for the thumbnail. I don't know yet, but you definitely will. Because you clicked on the video. Oh, the chunks are loading slow. Which usually tells me that the chunks are new chunks that are generated. When the chunks are loading quite fast, that means that the chunks are old chunks. At least most of the time. Except if the server has some problems and everyone is complaining. Oh, what do we have here? Also, yeah, that's what I wanted to find. That's what I wanted to find. A completely floating village. Awesome. Some parts generated underwater, it looks like. Let's check it out. Maybe we can find a house underwater. Because I never know. Always gotta check. Alright, we got floating houses, we got floating farms. Always gotta check underwater again. That's just beautiful. It looks really, really wacky. This is wonderful. Let's take a flyby on the other sides. Can we see anything that was generated underwater? Not that I can see. Doesn't look like it. But still. The floating house without a base is still beautiful. And the floating farms. Alright, let's go. Oh, there are again a few of these chunks. Which are really old. And here we have half a tree. Exactly at the chunk border. Wonderful. I love these strange occurrences. And also it most of the time looks like a valley, because if there are high mountains, you can see them on both sides, but not in the middle. Oh, there had been someone. because the mobs are burning. Come on. Go through. There we go. And you know, gotta do this. There we go. Another one of these pesky portals gone. Oh, there are a lot of mobs. Crazy. Oh, here we have another chunk border. Beautiful. Unupdated water blocks. Unupdated ice blocks. Just beautiful. It looks amazing. Yeah, here is the line again. Oh, this looks interesting. Let's take a look at this cave. Alright, just a hollow spot. People talking in chat about that bats are rare. Well, bats are not rare. If you look through my videos, I made a creeper farm again. And that creeper farm is accidentally also a bat farm. Because if we look at my statistics, I killed 46 bats. And from these 46 bats were killed on my last creeper farm. Because if you look at my creepers, I got 10,000 kills. And this was, as you could say, really effective. A really effective bat farm. This is a small village. Also a floaty one. Yeah. Not many houses. Also a new village. Huh. Was there anything generated underwater? I always gotta check, because you can never know. Unfortunately not. Anyways, this is a really small one, right? Just a few houses. Yeah. Really a small village. But a lot of villagers. Oh, this island looks perfect for repairing my elytras. So I'm gonna take out my shulker full of balls of enchanting. I think I'm gonna need around 3 stacks. And beforehand, I'm gonna turn down the master volume to 50%. Because spamming these bottles is usually really loud. Alright, first elytra is done. On to the second one. Oh, that's really fast today. On to the third one. There we go. Put the balls back. Take out some more rockets. These all red shulker boxes are made at my creeper farm. So they are all naturally made. Alright, let's go back to the music. Turn it up to 100%. And let's continue. One day I want to find a village that is completely generated underwater. I know it is possible, theoretically, because practically I found a village which had 2 houses completely underwater, and the rest was out of it. And I also found 1 house that was halfly in water. So 1 block high water within. So my theory is that it might be possible on this server to find a village that is completely underwater. Ah, now that I think of it, I also found another house completely underwater, even beneath the hillside underwater in a big ocean. And if you wanna check that out, there is a video on my channel about this. Just look for the house underwater, and usually you should find it. Alright, I gotta need another sip from my water bottle. There we go. Oh, these are beautiful. I love the coral reefs. I love the colors. Oh, and here we have a village. It's a normal desert village. And here we have a beautiful little house. I think it's a fisherman's hut. Yeah, with all the barrels. And also with the water next to it. Ah, the moon is beautiful. And a lot more corals. Also with the shipwreck. That's beautiful. And here we see the door action in action. Let's take a look at the chest. Yeah, nothing inside. At least nothing of value for me, at least. Ah, the chunks are loading a little bit slower than normally. How many people are online? 601. So, not that many. But I guess all the chunks are new chunks. Made it nearly 20,000 blocks further today. Let's see how far I will continue today. Maybe one more funky find. Yeah. One more beautiful find for today. Hello, sheepies. Oh, this looks quite interesting. Right in the corner. You see the two chunk borders? That's awesome. Yeah, I see you. Alright. Gotta fly out. It's too dangerous. Oh, also new village generated. Yeah. Let's take a look from above onto the water. Where was it exactly? Around here. This is just awesome. Gotta take a screenshot for the road. When you think traveling for such a long time can be boring or you might lose interest, imagine what I'm looking for. I'm looking for these crazy funky things. So it never gets boring for me. And to your advantage, you can watch my videos about it. If you don't feel like doing this travel on your own for a few years straight, you can just watch 1 or 2 videos and have a relaxing day. The durability of the elytras is so good. Once you have Unbreaking 3 on them, it's just wonderful. And here comes the sun. Ba-da-da-da. Here comes the sun. It's alright. Da-da-da-da-da. I love the Beatles song. A bigger duck. Why? Yeah, he was talking about bigger dub, but I'm talking about the bigger duck. I love chat sometimes. Yeah, not a lot of people are talking, but sometimes it's really interesting. Alright, the chunks are loading really slow today. Let's see if we can be faster than the chunks loading. I guess so. Yes, we can be faster than the chunks. Oh, and here we have old chunks. As you can see, everything is loading. Gotta try to land on this. Yay! I managed to do it. Alright. There we go. Was this just a pixie hole? Let's take a look onto the sides, because sometimes people just build very close to that. And you can never know. Alright, there are new chunks. It's so easy to find out the old and the new chunks, depending on how fast they're loading. And here we have new chunks again. Alright. So, just a pixie hole from someone. So, let's continue this way then. Shall we? Yeah, chunks are loading real smooth now. So, old chunks we got here. And beautiful big mountains here. Also in a strange formation. Nice. And here are new chunks again. As you can see, they're loading slower. You really don't need any hacks to find out if chunks are old or new. You just gotta be observant enough and to see the little hints the game itself gives you. If you know a little bit about how the game works, you don't need cheats. You can do everything you wanna do using the client Mojang gave us. And on to the next stack. There we go. These are old chunks again? Yes. And I knew it. Because there was one of these pesky portals. Right, I'm never gonna touch a bat. I'm never gonna destroy one of these. Just gonna destroy another portal. And if there was an E-chest nearby, I would destroy that as well, but it looks like there is none. Why don't I destroy bats? Well, I want to give people the experience of having to mine for diamond gear again, lighting up the portal and getting the full having to grind experience, to some players at least. That's what I imagine when I leave the bats, but destroy the E-chests and the portals. A little adventure for the people, because I think that's the most fun, when you lose everything and have to re-gear. The only thing that I don't want to lose is my distance from spawn. So that's why I set my spawn quite regularly. Most of the time off camera, but sometimes even on camera. Right, there is another one of these. Let's get rid of it. There we go. Ah, and the chunks are loading fast. That's beautiful. Oh, here we have another situation of unupdated water blocks. But not all of them. Still so beautiful to find these watery chunk borders. I love them. Because they look so out of place. And at the same time, they fit right in with the rest of the funk you can find on this beautiful server. That's a beautiful portal. Let's see what's in the chest. Where is it? Can't find it. Oh, here it is. Golden apple, aspiration 2 helmet, a clock, and a little bit of obby, which I'm gonna take. We have new chunks again. As you can see, they're loading really slow. And if you see people complaining in chat that the chunks are not loading, well, it's because the server is so big. The map size is giant. And if a lot of people try to load new chunks, which they do, then the server gets slowed down. But at least then you know you are in new chunks. We should see the line right here. Because there is a snowy area. Alright, here we have a village. I'm gonna check it out. Who knows? Maybe we find some funk in here. Because this video had been so long, not many are gonna look until this point. So I've set my spawn right here. Let's take a look what we can find. A few more houses, alright. Over there are some paths of the village, I see. Well, this villager can't get out. Huh. This is beautiful. Here we have a Fletcher. Alright. Alright, here we have one oddity. Grass block growing on wood. That's beautiful. Oh, here we have a floating house. Foundation is raised up from the ground. And on the other side we have a house that is... Oh, at least the villager is alive. But this house is... definitely inside. But I heard people trying to open doors, right? Yes. Let's see where the door is. Was this villager trying to open the door? Or did we hear the door inside of the mountain? I'm not sure. Everything is possible. Alright, let's take a look from above again. Alright, just this house is buried beneath, as far as I can see. But still not found a half house today, which is worrying me. But we can find one, I'm sure. Let's get rid of the dirt. Oh, beautiful shipwreck up on the hill. Alright, here we have the next village, completely with strange terrain generation. This is partly inside of the hill, wonderful. This is also partly in the hill. Hello, Mr. Scully Boy. This house is completely inside of the hill. Looks like it had partly fallen into the back rooms. At least you could say that. Anyways. There's the water. But it's the end of the village. Anything underwater? Not that I can see. But from above it looks a little bit like hobbit holes. Especially this house. Completely buried beneath the ground. I just love it. Beautiful little island. Would be interesting for a survival island, I guess. And here we have new chunks again. Yeah, the elytra is still looking fine. Oh, here we have another floaty village. Beautiful. Let's take a look underwater first. Because you can never know. As I've seen in the village before, everything can generate underwater, and it will. If you let the game do it, at least. Oh! Here we have grass on farmlands. Also an oddity. Let's take a look from above. I guess this village is mostly alright. Just a few floaters. So, let's continue. And if you haven't skipped through anything of the video, now you know how frequent it is that you find something beautiful on the server. And strange. It is really frequent. Most people just don't take the time to look at it. Because they just are traveling in the nether. Or are just zooming at absurd amounts of speed high up in the air. But I don't do this. I travel at a slower pace. And that way I can find the strange and funky things you've seen today. But I want to find a half house, or kind of structure at least today. Alright, my laptop gets a little bit warm today. Because I'm rendering video in the background. And not just one video, a lot of videos. But at least it's not getting loud. Hello, sheeples. Wow. A huge glacier on this side. It looks like. Let's take a look from above. Yeah, kinda sorta big. I love the mountain sides. Let's take a look on the other side. Also glacier. Yeah, the outskirts. So this should have been connected like this. But here it goes down because someone flew right through here, I guess. Even though they are newer chunks. They're still old compared to the glaciers. Oh, here we have another floating village. This is awesome. Just beautiful. Let's take a look from the other side. Oh, neat. This is really beautiful to find. Even if I've seen a lot of these floating villages, I still love them when I find them. And I love to find them. And the sun rises again. Beautiful. There's another junk border with unupdated water blocks and straight edges. Yeah, the ping is quite low, considering my distance to the server. Because the server is located in America, as far as I know, and I'm located in Europe. So, about the other side of the world, you could say. And my ping is still below 200. That's sweet. Alright, and here, these are old chunks, and these are new chunks. We really saw a stripe going through, telling us when the new chunk started. People saying not a soul online. Guess there might be a soul. I'm sure. I'm sure I'm not a bot. I'm not saying that word. But you can circumvent the new regulations of saying profanities in chat by saying them backwards. Like that. It's not that hard. Just type the profanities backwards and it works fine. So if people are still struggling to curse, then they might be dumb. But then it's their own fault. Oh, another floaty village. Let's take a look. Alright, different elevations. Some houses are partly inside of the mountains. Beautiful. And on the other side, oh, there is another village. Also partly floating. Guess this house is partly inside of the mountain, but it is fully generated. Let's take a look from above. Yeah, normal village. Normal floaty one. Right, so I guess no half house for me today. So I'm gonna log off again of a tree. Oh, by the way, I use a cape now. Just found out how to enable them again. Anyways, I gotta say to you, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!